Hi there. My speech today is about two of my favorite charities that have intertwined over the last few years. The first one is called the Kyle Petty Charity Ride Across America, and the second one is the Victory Junction Game Camp for Kids in North Carolina. And it's interesting how these charities have come about and what they do for children, especially in the southeastern region of this country. As you may have or may not remember from one of my previous speeches, I am a huge NASCAR fan, and I have been for over 20 years. I've rooted for the Petty family, in particular Kyle Petty. The Petty family have been in NASCAR basically since the beginning. Lee Petty has raced. Richard Petty, of course, everybody knows as the king of stock car racing. He's won over 200 races. Kyle raced, and so did Kyle's son Adam before his untimely death. The Pettys have always been a very charity-minded family, and not just to their fans, but to other people that's always been in need. The Pettys are very people-oriented. We wouldn't be here because of the fans. We wouldn't be here because of the people, and they've always felt that it's their responsibility. We have this. We want to give back to others. They've always done things in their local communities in North Carolina, and over the years they have branched out really across the country. About 21 years ago, Kyle Petty, who loves motorcycles, decided to get something going with some buddies of his. He used to ride from North Carolina out to Phoenix and bring 3 or 4 of his friends with him instead of flying the plane or going on the bus or whatever to the next race. And one year he had about 30 people join him, and it inspired him. He wanted to create a race that would benefit some charities, sort of like a huge poker run, if you will. So he got this idea, and he called it the Kyle Petty Charity Ride Across America. And what they did usually was they started in California, and they would go across the country, usually at a pretty good clip. They might end up back in North Carolina or in Florida or in Georgia, somewhere like that. But along the way, they would stop and visit children's hospitals and give donations. They would work with St. Jude's Children's Hospital. They would work with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Winston Racing Wyatt's Auxiliary, which was a charity for families of racers who had been killed or injured. So they were really focusing a lot more on children and families at this point. And it was about 5 years into the Kyle Petty Charity Ride, and Kyle's young son Adam, who was 19, they were in Florida, and he visited a camp called the Boggy Creek Camp, which is one of Paul Newman's camps, the hole-in-the-wall gangs. And Adam really wanted to bring this kind of camp to North Carolina. The camp was essentially children with terminal illness that were able to go to this camp and relax and be kids and not necessarily have to worry so much about their illnesses or being different from everybody else. So his family was behind him on this. He was going to look into raising some money on his own and getting land and starting up this camp in North Carolina. Unfortunately, Adam Petty was killed in a practice crash at the New Hampshire Speedway in the year 2000. So he never got to realize his dream. His father Kyle and his mother Patty, along with his grandfather Richard, they decided to go ahead and get the camp going. They wanted to do it in honor of Adam. Richard Petty had about 50 acres of land that he could donate, and that's what he did. He gave the land, and they raised money, and they broke ground on the Victory Junction Gang Camp. And it's been around now since 2004, actually. What they do is it's 84 acres total in Randleman, North Carolina, and kids with life-threatening illnesses, spina bifida, leukemia, sickle cell, all these different kinds. There's a week each summer for each of these illnesses, if you will. So every child that goes, the week that they go, they are surrounded by kids that are like they are. There's 24-hour medical attention. They have specific activities. They can swim, they can horseback ride, they can fish, they can run around as best as they can. They have games and movies. A lot of the NASCAR drivers have gotten involved, have donated money for building some bowling alleys and skating rinks and different things. It's really, truly an amazing place. I've not been to the camp yet. I hope to go pretty soon, probably this year or next year, and visit it. I have, however, seen the Kyle Petty Charity Ride in action. Like I said, they've been going now for 21 years. And since the camp has come into focus, that's what they've put their attention toward, is raising money now for the Victory Junction camp. Every year, Kyle now starts in California. Last year, they went ocean to ocean. They were in California. They went to Florida. Daytona Beach is where they ended. About 200 riders go with them, motorcycle riders. They have support vehicles. They have corporate sponsorship. They've had celebrity interest. Herschel Walker goes with them every year. They just really garnered a following, and they take a route very seriously. And then it doesn't matter if it's rain, snow in some places, they go and they keep going. They did California to Daytona Beach in a week. And it's amazing when you're able to see them come into a town. I've had the pleasure of seeing them in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and Springfield, Illinois. I'm going to be seeing them in Branson this year when the ride pulls in. People at all, the gas stops, the hotel stops for the night. They make appearances at malls. People show up and they have money, and they tweet and they put it out there, and they put, they put it on notice, so to speak. They say, hey, this is here, this is out there. They've gone over 11 million miles. They've raised over $16 million. Each family that goes, the cost for a child would be $2,500, but no family has to pay for anything. Over 7,500 kids have been able to go to camp due to these charities. A lot of kids love the break. Some of them, it helps in their recovery. Some of them, go more than once. They have these weeks like I spoke of, but they also have different weekends. They have an autism weekend that I've actually looked into for my own son. And a lot of parent interaction. Parents can go. All you have to do is get there. They have other charity events surrounding the Victory Junction Gang Camp. They do different things. They do run walks at racetracks. They do marathons. So this is really a wonderful thing that Kyle and his family have done. They did think about opening up a second one in Kansas City. I think that's been put on hold for monetary reasons right now. I've gotten my information from my history and from being around it and looking into it myself. I got some information from Wikipedia, the two websites, KylePettyCharityRide.com and VictoryJunctionGang.org and thepettyfoundation.org. So if anybody ever gets the chance and they want to donate to the charity or see the riders wherever they may be, you can look on these websites and get the route, or just even donate. You don't even have to donate money. They always want things like blankets and stuffed animals and all kinds of supplies for arts and crafts. So anything that anybody could do would be wonderful. And I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit. Thanks.